to all of you who've seen the Street Glide review with the Milwaukee 8, thank you. Jason and I have both been very impressed about the number of reviews. I've also enjoyed the interaction on it. You know, I want to educate you as a potential buyer what to expect out of these things. Coming from the viewpoint of somebody who rides 15 to 20,000 miles every year. Land shark, look at this. Okay, so I'm going to be reviewing a 2017 Road Glide Special. And what's so special about it? Well, this fairing came back out in 2016 as part of the Project Rushmore redesign of the Harley Davidson touring bikes. And goodness, so far, okay, so I haven't been on it, but maybe heck, let's see, maybe 5-6 miles. I'm trying to find someplace dark to check out the headlights. I think there's a parking garage I can go check out, but we'll see. But anyway, so far, oh my gosh, this fairing. I have the fairing ports closed. Hey, alright, stoplight, I can talk. Finicky, fine, and neutral. Just like on that Street Glide. Okay, so the ports, look at this. You got that one right there, that one right there, see it? This one up here. This allow wind to come through the fairing. I have them closed because right now it's just 55 degrees out, and yeah, I have them closed because right now it's 55 degrees out. And it's interesting, the oil pressure on the 2017s reads okay. On my 2014, the oil pressure for the system would actually give you what the pressure was. Wonder what it says if it's not okay, if it says uh-oh. Anyway, so I have them closed, you know, because of the temperature right now, and I'm not feeling the head buffeting yet. Of course, you know, I haven't been going more than the speed limit, so yeah, I haven't felt it yet, and that's impressive. See, the shocks are set up a little bit better on this. I notice there's a slight bounce on the front end, and I think that's the front tire. Probably needs to have the balance checked on it. That's what it feels like, but we'll see. Put it through the paces. And let me go ahead and give accolades to Appleton Harley Davidson out of Clarksville, Tennessee, and Jason Altenburg for making this review possible. Without support from people like that, it makes it hard for people like me to get out and review the bikes, so that people like you who are looking to possibly buy a Street Glide or a Road Glide or a Dynawide Glide or Sportster for that matter, or a Street, it makes it hard for you to go out and compare and say, okay, you know, I think I know what I want, but I don't know. You know, a test ride in itself doesn't tell you a lot. And if you're a new rider, it doesn't give you a lot to go on either. And yeah, you can talk to the old graybeards and they can give you some feedback, but the benefit you get of watching feedback from me, let's see if I can get in this parking garage. The benefit you get from watching videos from me and the feedback that I give you, the input I give you, is I give you quite a bit of time to digest what I'm going over, and to cover from a experienced rider's point of view, what do I think? Not turn with your steering, not at all. So that being said, some people are like, oh, but if you go into a corner, how are you going to see around it? Well, when you're riding slow, yeah, you steer. And speaking of steering, I love the buckhorn handlebar design going on here. Huh? That's pretty slick. Okay, so we'll use this nice wall for a demonstration. Come on, neutral. Dang it. Finicky, finicky, finicky. There we are. Okay. So, yeah. Headlight doesn't turn when you steer, does it? No. When you lean, it leans. When you're on Street Glide, Road King, anything with a regular headlight mounted to the front forks, when you're leaning at speed, you are counter steering. You push left to go left, you push right to go right. It'll do it. Trust me, look up videos about it. I'm not going to give you that kind of video right now. When you're going down the highway at night and you lean, they makers for the ElectraGlide Ultra Classic, Ultra Limited, they have a half circle. When you lean, it cuts off, and that's not fun for anybody. This, yeah, it's got a little bit better spread up top. You see that up top? The high beam? A little bit better spread. I can see down the road off to the sides. Low beam, good spread. Sort of cut off. Have to take it out at night through the country and see what it's like. Probably won't be doing that in this video. Oh, and you want to see something cool? One of the fellow riders in the Hog chapter has, I think it was a 2016 Road Glide special. It's a beautiful bike. When you have it in the park accessory mode, I don't know if you can tell or not, you see the little LED behind those light up? Shows up nice at night. What? I've got to tell you, the Milwaukee 8 is so smooth at idle. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to mention the brand that I had, but yeah, very smooth. And this bike's bone stock as far as the powertrain goes. The Street Glide that I reviewed, it had the torque cam put in it, the stage 1 airbox, stage 1 air kit. The Screaming Eagle Street Cannon exhaust put on it. And if you go online and look at Harley Davidson's website, they'll give you the dyno chart for the torque cams. It makes a bit of a difference as far as the torque curve. Remember how I was telling you on that video the torque band was up and flat? This one, there's a slight delay. Yeah, you don't get that kick. Excuse me. You don't get that kick, but my goodness. It's still pretty good. The vibration, let's see. I do notice right about 3,300 RPM with the stock cam, stock setup on this bike. Your feet do have a high frequency vibration. When you roll off the throttle, you're not getting that vibration. It's going from feet to hands. I am getting a purr. That's why I describe it, like a purr, like you're holding a nice cuddly little cat in your arms. And it's such a badass, but it really likes being petted. And as you pet it, it purrs. You get that vibration. That's what I'm feeling in my hands. Not a big deal. Compared to the Street Glide with that torque cam in it, the vibration on this, maybe 10% of that, you know, coming through that RPM range so far. So we'll see. Definitely gets up and goes. So let me see if I can get around this joker. So yeah, you still have that little bit of a climb up before you hit the power band, and then you come across it. It's similar to the twin cam on that, you know, since this is a bone stock bike. So you got that little lag, like maybe 3 or 4 seconds. But would I put a torque kit in it? The torque cam? Probably not, because I don't want to put up with that vibration if that's what was causing the vibration on that street glide. It does pull pretty good up a hill. A little more torquey, you can tell it's a little more torquey than the twin cam was. Of course you got, you know, 4 inches of displacement difference. But again, that engine, the flow on the engine, it's really nice. Check out my video about the Milwaukee 8 engine, how it's set up on that street glide for more information. I have noticed the sewing machine sound of the lifters. I don't know if it'll pick up on the camera or not. I'm not sure if it will, but if it does, fine. If it doesn't, you know, so be it. I know when I rode the street glide, it was a whole lot colder out, so that could be why I didn't pick it up. Plus, you know, with it having that torque cam in it, all that. The engine, well, you know, it has a slight lag, and then it gets up to where it needs to be, and then it goes across. You know, yeah, you're gonna have to shift down sometimes. That's fine, not a big deal. Like I said, I wouldn't go as far as put a torque kit in it. I don't think. I mean, I think it's torquey enough as is. The exhaust, you know, I'm not a fan of loud exhaust. In fact, I love the looks of my bike and that Street Cannon flat black exhaust on there. But dang, that booger. Woo, it's getting noisy again on the right side, which it did the same before. The baffle went out on it. That's okay, I got a plan B for that. Now look at this thing, it just like bone stock and it just gets up and goes, you know, it's gorgeous. It's so sweet. So yeah, idling's nice. I still get a little bit of vibration in the head. You know, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but getting about maybe 1/16 of an inch of a bounce on the vision. Not a big deal. Shocks do feel better. Of course, they're set up stiffer, which, you know, as you see in my other video, I looked it up online on the manual, and I had it set according to the factory spec in the manual. So maybe their owner's manual needs to be updated. They're Harley owners. We realize you guys are pudgy, so crank it up. We're coming up to the rougher section of asphalt up right here. See how it does. Hey, no gas. Let's go roll around in the clover. One's got a stick. It's like, hey man, I found a stick. Check this out. Still a little more jarring than the air rear shocks on my 2014. I think I prefer it to be a little more cushy. Maybe maybe after a few miles of breaking in, the shocks get better. I don't know. Of course, with it being a Road Glide special, the shocks are shorter, like on the Street Glide special, than the full dresser touring bike. But still, you know, it looks like a Cadillac. It's big like a Cadillac. It looks like it to ride a little bit like a Cadillac. Still can't get into that taking your saddlebag away from the bike to adjust the suspension. And I know, yeah, we have issues with the air ride suspension changing with the leak down and the temperature and all that, and adding weight and taking weight away. Okay, so with this suspension, you eliminate temperature and leak down, but you still got to add weight, take weight away. And I'm not going to sit there and take a chance of scarring up my saddlebag just to adjust the suspension every time. So you either don't adjust it and either ride too stiff half the time or too soft half the time. And that's not a good deal. It's not, to me, it's not a wise choice. When the Project Rushmore Road Glides first came out, I did see some had the air ride suspension, so it can be done. Plus, this booger does have the mount for the valve. Handling. You know, I don't know. You know, is there a big difference between having a bat wing on the forks and then a fairing mounted to the frame that sticks out in front of the forks? Well, think about a teeter-totter or seesaw. Think about that. A teeter-totter or seesaw. The bat wing mounted on the fork is somewhat right above and does not go past the front wheel or the front fork, the suspension. Bat wing ends here. Boom. Shark nose goes past that, so you have some weight out past the fork. Therefore, the shift in your center of gravity slightly forward on the bike. Is it? Something to think about. I think it might be. And that's why these feel a lot more nimble. Oh my God. I mean, it really does. I'm really impressed with that compared to a bat wing. Man. Hey, cows. But yeah, compared to a bat wing, it does feel more nimble. And it could be also too that your mind's thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so big, I'm so out there. Oh, and then when it doesn't do what you think it's going to do, or you expect it to do, as far as delayed reaction, then your mind's like, oh, well, that's better than I thought it would be. So you kind of overemphasize it. I don't know. Oh, and this thing handles so nice to these curves. Even compared to my 2014 that I love, this thing is so nice. Look at this. You know, so it feels more balanced. Wow, it feels more balanced than the Street Glide did too. So it's not the tour pack. I mean, the tour pack could be part of it, but it's not the tour pack. I don't think it's the suspension, because the Street Glide and this have the same suspension that I did the test ride on. So what is it? What is it? Is it the bars? Could it be the buckhorn bars? A little bit more comfortable position for my arms? I don't know. They're a little bit higher, at least they seem to be. I don't think they really set higher at the grips though, but it could be. And you notice they're thicker. They're like 1.25 inches. They're thick, which is good. You know, probably absorbs some of the vibration. Not a big deal. Now, yeah, so far it's pretty impressive. I wish I could really get some speed here, but that car's in front of me. That's alright. We're going through the more populated section anyway. I don't want to pop around a curve and somebody be pulling out.
We're joined together right here was where the issue was, right?
Yeah.
The older models had that seal, man, that always seemed to go from time and make it harder, and then they were trying to find a way to get the cab to be easily removed.
Yeah.
The cool story is about the pockets.
Yeah, I like that.
So we changed them. They changed the pockets, right, which was cool. Just didn't make a lot of sense when you're trying to reach and pull the pocket back and put something in there.
Yeah.
But the cool story is they put this thing on a big platform and they missed it with all the water they can. And what the problem they kept running into, and I think that's why they didn't come out in 15, was because they couldn't keep the pockets dry. So what they ended up doing was they tried everything, but then they ended up coming up with what you see.
Yeah.
Is a trail.
Yeah.
So when you get torrential downpours, it runs into that trail.
Yeah.
And then comes out a pee hole on the bottom of the fairing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Reminds me how they did the old Corvettes.
Yeah. That's a neat. It's like somebody had a boo-boo. What a shame. Doesn't look like much damage. A little scuffing maybe, I don't know. Okay, so this isn't my first time with a shark nose bike or a frame mounted fairing. Back in the early 90s, mid 90s, I was in the U.S. military and stationed at Fort Hood, Texas, and decided, no, I want a motorcycle. So I went to one of the local shops and bought a 1973 Honda CB750 4-cylinder. It was the burnt sienna orange and black color combo, and it had a white big frame mounting fairing on the front. Oh my gosh, was that something else, huh? And it had these pockets that had little snap flaps. Of course, speedometer and tach were mounted to the front forks because it was a Honda CB750. There really wasn't much else going on with that front fairing. Unfortunately, over time, that fairing cracked, and I ended up having to remove it and go back to a single headlight on the forks. But the point of that is, that fairing was so nice. You had room to put stuff. You know, you can see your gauges. Now, difference on the head buffer, but you can feel the wind come through there with those opened up. I'm trying to catch up to that semi, see how it does trailing behind the semi. Yeah, no big deal. No big deal. Yeah, not a lot of wiggle, you know, behind the car. On the Batwing mounted fairings, where they're mounted to the forks, you know, even on the windscreens they're mounted to the forks, you get a little bit of feedback off the fairing being mounted to the forks. So when there's a car in front of you, the draft comes around the car and causes a shock wave. And that fairing being mounted to the forks puts that input right into your steering. Not getting that with this shark nose, which is really nice. If you're a long distance rider like I am, it can be helpful. Now, I'm not saying that the input on the Batwing is negative, it's just there. My 1999 FLHTPI, I ended up putting a steering dampener on the front end, and that made a big difference. On this kind of bike, I don't think you would need that, as long as your front end is set up right. Big hoogie doogie headlights, those two vents on each side. That's wild, isn't it? See your road like that. See the road down below the fairing too. That's kind of wild. Look at the reflection coming up through the top vent. Opened up. Yeah, I feel a lot more ventilation with the vents open now, going more towards city speeds than I did before. It's catching the helmet, which is nice. Make sure my vents are open up all the way. Very nice. Now, I do have some questions on a fairing like this. I wish it was raining, but you know, what are you gonna do? Okay, so rain coming down. Look at all this real estate between me and that windscreen. Guess what's gonna come in between me and it? It happens, yes, on the batwing fairings, but not as much real estate between the two of you. Therefore, less probability, right? Or less occurrence? No, not so much on this. Yeah, so there's that to contend with. Other thing is hand protection. My hands on these bars are just slightly outside. Look, it appears to be slightly outside the wind draft, maybe, because see how it kind of comes in here. It does kick back out, but I'm wondering about cold weather, how that works out. So definitely get heated grips. I know you think, you don't need heated grips, but yeah, you do. Up here. Notice I don't turn through it. I lean and counter steer through it, and the fairing, it doesn't matter if it's straight or not. See? If you're on a bat wing, it's not going to turn. So, no big deal. No big deal. Yeah, I love that. That's, you know, reaching there going down the road. Put some stuff in there, and it kind of goes back a little bit. Put your maps in there, whatever. You got an electrical port over here. Doesn't really have a notch to run the power cord into that box. And then you got the USB port on the right side. And if you carry one of these oversized smartphones like I do, on my Ultra Limited, I cannot stick it in that multimedia pocket. It will not fit all the way in there. Will it fit in this? Oh no, what? Look like that. Oh, look at there. Oh, you guys see that? Look at that. Fits down in there. Cool. Huh. Neato. And it closes. Hey, all right. Hey, you're cooking with Crisco. You see how far back that goes? Got your USB. Neato. Cool. So that's nice. Be nice to plug it in up there, play music. Of course, you can Bluetooth sync it. Let's try this side. Uh-oh. This side has a shallow pocket. Huh. Why the shallow pocket? The whole thing's shallow. Huh. Does it fit in there? Wah, wah. Wah, wah. Nope. Nope. Well, so I guess you put your toll change on that side. The ElectraGlide specials come with the painted inner fairing. That's nice. Longer than it is. You know, somebody's going to say, well, you know, you can't see as far out there as the Batwing. Actually, my Batwing ends right here, right? More or less. And with it ending right there, your line of sight ends about the same. So Harley did really good on that. There's not a lot of difference there. So yeah, as I showed, or as the video shows about my Oogie Doogie monster phone, the pockets, they're nice, but they don't quite fit it on both sides. It does on the right side, which is very impressive. So kudos there for Harley Davidson. And I'm not getting a lot of my helmet, which is nice. I think the wind flows around the batwing. I mean, the shark nose better than the batwing. I didn't want to scrape the board. That would not be nice. Yeah. So, coming from a batwing guy, I like the shark nose. Again, though, I'm not riding in the rain right now, so that might make a difference. You know, if you ride somewhere where it's rainy a lot, or you ride in the rain a lot, you get the rain between you and that, and it's going to come back and get you. And then, well, you know, it's just part of life. Of course, you're going to get wet on a bike anyway. Bugs. I haven't seen any bugs hit my helmet, but they've hit the front of the bike. They've hit the windscreen. And they should be out at 64 degrees. You know, they should be out flying around doing bug things. What do you guys think about the vent ports showing the road below? Isn't that funny? That's kind of wild, huh? It's kind of like you're watching a little TV down there. What am I about to... What's that? What's that? Oh, what am I about to hit over there? That's pretty cool. I like it. This takes some getting used to. The light reflecting up through there. Huh. Yeah, you can close it, I guess, but not a big deal. Not a big deal. And thank you, Jason, for sending me out on a bike with a taller than stock windscreen on the front. That's definitely helpful. Hopefully the wind noise isn't too bad on the mic. Hasn't been too bad, or wherever you're watching the video. Oh, and the gauges on this, I'm wearing a full face helmet. You know, the gauges on this, even with the full face on, I could still see my speedometer intact really nice, which is great. I was kind of concerned about that. You know, with the batwing fairing, the speedometer tack, fuel and volt are all up top, and the radio's down lower. Now, one thing I do notice is me being 5'10", got pretty good wingspan. I got a wingspan of about 6'1" or so. I gotta lean to touch the screen. Oh my gosh, what do I do? Well, you got these little toggles on the switches that really come in handy. So, no big deal, just toggle through stuff, change whatever, you know, go to the home screen, go back to nav. LCD getting wiped out. I don't know if you can tell on the camera or not. Yeah, I can see a little bit down in the bottom left, but upper right's pretty much gone, depending on how the sun hits it. That sucks. Now it's coming back a little bit, and now it's going good. And I have noticed when the sun's behind me like it is, the gauges and sometimes even the LCD screen for the nav gets wiped out by the sunshine. Is that a big deal? Depends, you know, do you ride around looking right at your gauges the whole time? Now you might ride around watching your nav. I mean, I like running my nav when I'm on rides. Hey dog. Dog's like, oh, I'm tired. I like running my nav on rides because I like to see what's coming up. I mean, that's nice, you know, to see the curves ahead. That is very nice. Alright, so let's do a little walk around. Some of the things I noticed. Again, it would be nice if the front wheel was contrast chrome, but it's not. It's kind of a satin finish to it. The contrast chrome I think looks a lot better, but they don't do the enforcer wheels in the chrome. Just do this clear coat over the machining. Yeah, I would change the lowers out, maybe the cowbells. As far as colors go, I'm a fan of the bass boat color myself, not the vivid black. But that being said, so far I noticed, again, this is all stock. Still get a little more exhaust flow coming out the left versus the right. Or excuse me, try this again. Still get a lot more exhaust flow coming out the right versus the left. I'm you know, I would say probably look at one of the companies that can replace the headers and do a better crossover design so you get equal pressure on each side, and then put a set of mufflers on that have the cats in the muffler. And I know some people out there are going to be like, ah, the cat takes away power, the cat takes away power. Okay, one of the ways to get torque is to have back pressure. The cat causes a little bit of back pressure. That increases your torque. These bikes are torquey. That's how they get up and go. Horsepower is once you're up there. But if you can't get up there, you're just spinning your wheels more or less. That being said, that's one of the things I would do. The fairing lowers, even if you put on the little nylon ones, you're going to get air that pushes against them and comes up through the fairing here. It does on the Batwing, but the Batwing sits closer. This is going to be a little bit more pronounced. There's a kit Harley Davidson has that you can put in here that will block some of that updraft, which would be nice. One of the things I like about the Road Glide versus the Street Glide, the Ultra Classic, the Ultra Limited, is servicing the front forks. Now, if you don't ride but maybe 5,000 miles a year, you're not going to be really worried about it. But considering my bike, my 2014, and this is 2017, already has almost 55,000 miles. Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to get to the front forks a little bit easier. Like this, you know, it looks like you just got to take off some decorative trim for the housing and all that. Man, vivid black sure shows the dust. Sure shows the dust, doesn't it? Shows the dust. So, what else would I change on it? Really not much else. I mean, it's kind of nice. What else would I change? Okay, so yeah, tour pack. Big hooky dooky tour pack. Probably have the light bar on it with the turn signals in it. Have the antennae up on the tour pack. Have the CB added, intercom added. Passenger. Hey, you know, those are cute. But on a long ride, your passenger's going to want a floorboard. They're going to be a little bit more comfortable than that. I mean, that's nice and all, but damn. I think I want some floorboards back there. This fairing being mounted to the frame, if you are a former sport bike rider that's gone up in years and realized running triple digits all the time, it's not for you, nor is that tucked in, knees folded up, British riding style. This is better. Much better. You still get the thrill of riding. This is kind of like that fairing on your sport bike, nice and small, fixed to the frame, doesn't turn when you turn. Look at this, you know, got all this real estate. Still grooving on this frame mounted fairing, the shark nose. Now what would I change if I were to get one? What is this bike aimed towards? What kind of guy or gal would go for the Road Glide? Well, I've been noticing that this shark nose gives you the impression the bike is longer than it actually is on the wheelbase. Because it's out there, you know? And it kind of reminds me of a chopper. Why? Because the chopper's front wheel is actually out where this thing looks like it's going to end up. This is not a chopper, it's a touring bike. But you get what I'm saying though. Chopper raked out. Hey doggy. Chopper raked out, front end sticks way out, ends up out there. This looks like it ends up out there, but it's not, because the front wheel's not out there. The front wheel's behind it, which is nice. So you get the impression the bike is, you know, is it going to be for you? Going back to the market that this bike's aimed towards, I can really see anybody getting one of these, to be honest. As far as a first bike, maybe not so much so, because, well, you're going to have to think, it does not matter what this does when you're riding at speed, like I am right now. The only time you are steering through curves is 20, 15 and below, you know? That's the only time you're steering through it. The rest of the time, you're doing like I told you, you know? You press on the right, you lean to the right. Yeah, you press on the right, lean to the right. You notice it doesn't change the front end. So don't worry about that. Now, if you're doing slow parking lot maneuvers, yeah, you know, the bat wing would be better for it. Now, as for me personally, whoo, man, if this was that big hoogie monster looking bass boat metal flake black gold, oh my gosh, you know, something about that color is just, to me, that color screams, look at me. It's gaudy in a way maybe Elvis of the 70s, you know, later in his career was gaudy, and you still know it's cool. Of course, you know, they have, I think this year on 2017, they have the purple color, the metal flake on it. The main color is not as big. It's a finer flake, but not super fine. Because what they do on the darker areas to do the flame effect, they use a finer metal flake there. The red's that way as well. I don't know about the pure gold color, the yellow color, yellowish color, you know, which flake that is. But I believe the black gold metal flake is the fat bass boat metal flake. And my dad, when I was young, used to paint pickle fork racing boats and speed boats and things like that for companies. And he explained, when you're laying down flake, well, they did gel coat, but when you're painting and flake, the flakes have to land at different angles to give it that pop. And the fatter the flake, the deeper that paint's going to end up having to be, because you got to raise it up. You got to raise the total surface up to cover the parts of the flakes that are standing up more up and down. And so that black gold metal flake, I bet that paint's a whole lot thicker than the vivid black. I bet it is. And my suspicion also is that the clear coat's probably thicker. That's a suspicion though. I hope it was informative for you guys. Feel free to leave comments. You know, I'll moderate the comments, so I'll be glad to get feedback. If you're seeking feedback, if you have questions, feel free to ask questions. Again, this ride was made possible by Jason Altenburg at Appleton Harley Davidson in Clarksville, Tennessee. If you're out and about, want to look around, come on up. As far as if you're not anywhere near it, you know, definitely check one of these bikes out. I think it's pretty darn near perfect. It's not exactly perfect, but pretty darn near. You know, there's some changes I would do, but that's just me as an experienced rider. You know, your needs may vary. Sport bikes. What are these guys chomping on? Oh, look at the cross. Hey, guys, that's not nice. Oh, of course you don't go my way. Lenny Kravitz, right? You don't go my way. Oh yeah, don't use your turn signal. Nobody needs to know where you're going. Speaking of suspension health. So yeah, the owner's manual apparently online is incorrect. Give it a big X on accuracy of the suspension. But still, it didn't help enough that I'm like, hell yeah, this is smooth as glass. Ooh, it's still a little bumpy. It's a little bumpy, Captain. This thing's so sweet. Oh my gosh. What do we got there to eat? Oh, the chicken. Why did the chicken cross the road? It did not. It didn't make it. Okay, let's open this thing up a little bit. Oh yeah. It's doing so much better than my bike. Well, by so much better I say. Don't look now. Be quiet. Nobody will know. Oh man.